Hey man, there's a difference between being a professional and being an amateur. And that difference is, well, most of the time it starts with habits. The difference between being a professional and an amateur is that pros deliver consistent, predictable results. And working with amateurs, well, it's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. You ever been to Top Golf or even a batting cage, right? For me, I know I can get lucky every now and then and smack a ball like all the way out the park. But also me is the guy that my wife is laughing at because I will miss by a mile. Even if your goal isn't to be a professional audio engineer, being able to consistently and predictably hit the goals that you desire in your music production journey will inspire you and empower you to go further. On the other hand, hoping to get lucky will only lead you to disappointment and frustration and even humiliation, right? So I've outlined 5 simple habits that anyone can do that can turn chaos into consistent, predictable results. And trust me, your future self will thank you and your music will thank you too. I used to sit down at my mixing desk and just start mixing. I had a goal, to make it sound good, but I ain't really have a plan. And what I learned is that a goal without a plan is just a wish. Without a plan for the mix, I would spend hours tweaking stuff that didn't even matter for the big picture, forgetting creative ideas that I had came up with and being easily distracted. And while some wishes will come true, I realized that analyzing the situation and creating a detailed plan helps you to predictably and consistently reach the desired outcome. Habit 1. Be sure to have a goal for the session. Before every session, ask yourself, what am I here to accomplish? Are you tracking vocals? Are you polishing the mix? What does the mix even need? What creative ideas have you already come up with? Write it down, take notes, and stick to the plan. Having a clear goal will keep you focused, but it also helps you to deliver exactly what your client needs without overcomplicating things. You can even make your own revision notes during the mix. Like I will literally listen to the mix, write down all the things that I want to change. And then when I go back into the mixing process, I will fix only those things and then take notes again and fix those things. Doing this helps me to keep sight of the bigger picture without constantly just doing. All right, so look, imagine this, picture this. You are engineering the biggest session of your career. The client is vibing, they excited, you excited. And then you spend 20 minutes setting up effects that the client wants. By the time that you get ready, the vibe is gone. It took me only one time to learn this and it's devastating. It's gonna kill your career if you keep letting that happen, all right? So habit 2 is gonna be to use a template. Using a session template saves you from this nightmare. I like to think of a template as your console being ready or your studio already in the box. Having the tools that you frequently use ready to go when you need it is all a template is. So whether you use and make one of your own templates or you use one of mine, having the preloaded tracks, effects, and routing will keep the momentum alive and your creativity won't have to suffer. I'll leave a link in the description to an in-depth video on how you can create your own templates or use some of mine, and you can find that right down in the description below so you can even download them and start using them right away. I've opened up sessions from clients where the tracks were named Audio 1, Audio 2, and even if someone was untitled. Trying to find out what felt like I was on the first 48 trying to solve a crime, right? But by the time I figured out what everything was and label it and organize their mess, I was in no shape mentally to start mixing that session and be creative. Habit number 3, organize and label your tracks. Please label your tracks and do it before you record on them. Most DAWs will even name the resultant audio files with whatever the track's name is, right? So if you name the track drums and you start recording on it, the audio file on it will be called drums, no more Audio 1. Use colors, markers, and subgroups to keep everything easy to navigate. Not only will the future you thank you, but it will also just make collaboration smoother. If somebody else needs to open up your session, you don't want to be known as the Audio 1 guy, right? And people don't stop calling on you, man. If you need help with setting up subgroups, I also have an in-depth video that'll break all of this down, and I'll leave it down in the description. One of the worst feelings is thinking that you've mixed the hell out of a record Then you go to the party, the club, and you get your DJ friend to play it, and the mix comes out just sounding completely wrong. It feels terrible compared to all the professionally mixed hits that everybody been jamming to all night. You just cleared the dance floor. Everybody got to use the bathroom, get a drink now. I've been there before, man. And that's when I learned the power of using a reference track. Use a reference track, man. Habit number 4, use a reference track. Pick a reference track that matches the sound that you're going for. Load it into your session and check it regularly. It'll keep your ears from lying to you, and it'll prevent you from spending hours trying to polish something that doesn't hit in the right context, man. Sometimes I'll even like to use a tool like the Metric AB plugin. That can be helpful, but it's not entirely necessary. Just be sure that whenever you're using a reference, you level match your reference and be able to quickly A/B between your mix and the reference, right? Because our ears literally only have about 2 to 4 seconds of memory when actually being able to tell what's what, right? I got a full video on how to use a reference track that I'll leave in the description of this video too. I want to talk to you for a quick second about how the right community changes everything. They say iron sharpens iron, but in this game, it's not just about sharpening your tools. It's actually about sharpening you, your skills, your craft, your career. The Wavy Skills Elite is a community of hungry, driven, and talented audio engineers and producers. We don't just talk about greatness, we are working for it. Every week, we dive into advanced techniques, insider tips, and practical strategies to level up your mixes, your recordings, and your mindset. Together, we push limits and break barriers. You can try to go at it alone, or you can join a team that's here to inspire, challenge, and sharpen you. Because when you're a member of the Wavy Skills Elite, you're not just learning, you're actually growing. The difference between good and great, it's the time, the effort, and the people that you surround yourself with. Join the Wavy Skills Elite today and let's sharpen each other. Iron sharpens iron. Let's get to work. Since living in Georgia, I've had more unexpected power outages than ever before. You don't want to be working on a mix or recording and you haven't saved anything recently, right? Or it just ain't saved at all. And then the power go out. You just might cry, trust me. Habit number 5 is going to be to save intentionally and save often. Look, saving is so important. For one, you never know when you will need a session years or decades down the line. Create a folder for every client. Save versions of the session with clear names and dates. I recommend that every time you bounce a file down, save the session with the same version number as the bounce. Like if it's bounce 1.0, save that session as 1.0. If I do a 2.0, say that as 2.0. That way, if there's any further changes to be made, I'll just do a save as and save it on the new copy. That way, if one of my clients want to go back, like, yo, you know what? I like what we was doing on version 2.0. We'll always be able to go back there, right? And also just hit save every few seconds. Like the Command S, if you're on a Mac, or Control S on a PC, it ain't going to cause you no trouble. Hit Command S, save early, save often. It'll save you some frustration. Now picture this. You working on a big old project, a big session, one of the biggest in your life. The session is flawless. You know your goal, the template is loaded up, everything organized, your reference track is in check, and you saving like your career depends on it. That's the dream, right? And it's actually achievable with these 5 habits. So next time that you hit the studio, remember, every session is an opportunity. Write it down, have intention, structure it with clarity, save it like it's the next big hit. Now go do something dope.